When Old Lee started out, it was a tiny little restaurant inside a strip mall, but it was still very popular. Well, now they've blossomed into their own brick and mortar at the Tanger Outlet in North Charleston. And the one thing Old Lee has going for it is authenticity. Everybody says this is the authentic, real deal Chinese place. And they have a huge menu with a wide variety. Let's check it out. I'm a Charleston native. I love to go on cruises, travel to amazing places, and enjoy local cuisine. This is local Charleston. When Old Lee first opened, it was in late 2021, and they occupied the space that is now owned by Chef Lung's Dim Sum. Old Lee is one of those places that beat the odds. They opened around the time of the pandemic, but yet somehow seem to thrive. And now they are thriving in this new location in Tanger Outlet, a much larger location. I was taken back by these large tables, perfect for a large family gathering or corporate event. I was told by one of the servers that all the art and decorations were brought over directly from China for authenticity. As you can see, a lot of the tables have the signature Lazy Susan because they like to serve family style, and you can share everything with your table mates. This place reminded me a lot of Dragon Palace over on Daniel Island, but with a lot more seating. I was also impressed by how bright and vibrant the interior is here. It's not one of those dark restaurants. Everything is well lit and very colorful. Another great thing about this restaurant is their very friendly and attentive staff. You will not have to worry about getting a water glass filled or getting an extra napkin. They are constantly checking up on you to make sure that everything is okay with a big smile on their face. And they're very concerned about serving authentic Chinese food. I mean, when you look at the menu here, you're not going to find chow mein or chop suey or lo mein, the standard fare that you find on most Chinese menus. They have traditional Chinese dishes prepared the traditional way. Now, Old Lee does not take reservations, but they really don't need to. I mean, you can see by all the seating they have available that there's plenty of places for you to sit down and enjoy a great meal. However, I will say be sure to bring your appetite because the portion sizes here are absolutely huge. I had leftovers for several days after dining here. Now, when I go to restaurants, I like to step outside my comfort zone. And I even do that sometimes with what I order as a beverage. And in this case, I was very curious because they had a cold black tea drink. And I hadn't seen cold black tea offered as a drink before. So of course, I had to give it a try. Now in this case, my adventurousness paid off because this cold black tea was wonderful. It was very robust and refreshing. It had a wonderful flavor to it. I liked it way better than the standard hot tea. Now when you sit down, all tables are given these 3 different complimentary pickled vegetables. This one right here is radishes. They were quite good. Next to that are some pickled cucumbers. And then finally over there on the right you see a selection of kimchi. And they definitely know how to do kimchi right because I had a bite of this and boy did it have a nice spicy kick at the very end of it. It's a nice variety of flavors to get your palate ready for the meal that's coming ahead. Now with every table you're given 2 small bowls, 2 small plates, and a set of chopsticks. But don't worry, I'm not chopstick savvy myself, they do give you forks as well. I must say though, those are some pretty fancy chopsticks. Now we started off with 2 chicken spring rolls. Now I know they say spring rolls, but really they ate more like egg rolls. They had that crispy fried crust on the outside instead of that thin wrapping you find on most spring rolls. However, I will say this, they were packed, literally packed with tons of meat, and they were very, very flavorful. And of course the sweet chili dipping sauce was good as well. Whether they're egg rolls or spring rolls, it doesn't matter, they were quite good. Now a Chinese staple of course is their egg fried rice, and I decided to go with the shrimp fried rice while I was here. And can you look at the size of this portion? It is absolutely ginormous. This is the biggest portion of fried rice I have ever gotten at a restaurant. And it was absolutely packed with flavor. Really, really good. And this was one of the dishes I ended up eating on for several days after because there was just so much rice to eat. When dining here, be sure to order this. Up next, we decided to try the salt and pepper shrimp, which are large shrimp that are served on skewers. Now the shrimp were definitely big and tasty, but I do offer this with a warning because it's very unusual, especially for me. They actually cook it with the shells on, and you're supposed to eat it with the shell, which provides a crunchy texture, but it's definitely something I've never done before. Now I'm finishing this video with the two items that my wife and I love the most, and the first was the sweet and sour pork ribs. This dish did not disappoint in the least bit. I mean, there were lots of ribs, they were nice and plump and juicy. On the exterior, they had a nice crispy texture because they'd been fried so nice. And then on the outside, they're coated with the sticky, gooey, yummy, sweet and sour sauce that really brought out the flavor. I definitely highly recommend these. Now, my wife and I read tons of reviews of Old Lee, and all of them said that the Peking duck was a must-get item, so of course we had to go ahead and get the Peking duck. The duck meat was nice and tender, but what I really loved was the crispiness of the skin. It had a nice, sweet, crunchy, crispy skin on the outside, and they had a very unique way of serving it. Now, as you just noticed, there's like a little square thing over there. That's a wafer-thin pancake. And what you do is you dip your duck meat in the duck sauce and get a nice couple of pieces going there, and you top it on top of that wafer-thin pancake. Up next after that, you get a nice little piece of cucumber to put on there for a nice crunch factor. And then they also have these shredded greens as well to give it that nice crispy vegetable taste. Then when you're all finished with that, you just pick it up, wrap it up like a little burrito, and you have a nice little duck wrap to have a bite of. And let me tell you, the flavors together were very good, and it was very tasty to just eat these little duck wraps throughout the evening. I see now what the hype is all about. So while you're in the Low Country and you're thinking to yourself, I really could go for some good, authentic Chinese food in a relaxed, casual atmosphere with great service, I advise you to check out Old Lee's for sure. They will make sure that you leave totally stuffed and very happy for the meal you just had. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and follow. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps to grow the channel. And we put out a new restaurant video each week. And as always, thanks for watching.